too critical at this time. There's been enough negativity around of late. Just carry on grinding on to the end of that season, and is it, and hopefully rejuvenate in the close season. But Wolves, very impressive.
6 wins in a row, and Wolves are upwardly mobile. Leicester will dust themselves down and go again. 4 games to go now. Well beaten here at Molineux. Full-time score, Wolves 3, Leicester 0.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Matt. Elliot will hopefully stay and be able to chat with Matt. I'll certainly ask him a couple of questions at full time. But welcome back to the Matchday Live studio with me, Dan Bates, here with Jerry Taggart and Robert Huth to assess another disappointing afternoon. It's fair to say that the one positive could have been a Jamie Vardy goal. His penalty was saved. It felt like everything that could have gone wrong today kind of did, really.
Yeah, you've got to say Wolves were the better team. They deserved the victory. The longer the game went on as well, you thought that, especially after Jamie doesn't convert that penalty, then you think Wolves are going to go further ahead, which they did. Slightly better in terms of performance levels in the second half with the introduction of Jason. I was going to say Jason McAteer, but Casey McAteer. But again, you know, you're looking at the back line and scratching your head at times for some of the decisions and leading up to Wolves' second and third goal.
Yeah, I mean, comfortable win for Wolves. I thought they, won comfortably without being brilliant. Weren't really tested from Leicester. Penalty that Vard's got himself, obviously. If that goes in, it might be a different game. But once he missed that, we were watching it, weren't we, thinking it's just a matter of time before they scored the third, which was the case. But yeah, I mean, fair play to Wolves, 6 wins in a row. That's some going. And from our point of view, yeah, just another disappointing away performance where we just didn't get going at all. So
you can see the difference in the two teams. One, like you say, they've won 5 on the spin up until today, and obviously a team that's just been confirmed relegation. And that, like you said, that was a difference. And obviously Wolves have one outstanding player on the pitch as well, in Cunha. But I mean, I think Leicester at times just made it a little bit too easy for them. Yeah,
Matt, are you still there for us at Molineux following that defeat? Obviously, not yet. We'll get to Matt when we can, because I was just going to ask him obviously about the atmosphere from a Wolves point of view. It looks well, party atmosphere. It really is. They confirmed their safety last week with a win away at Man United. They've just won 6 on the bounce. You can see the mood is feel good. Very much the opposite to what it is clearly at Leicester at the moment.
Yeah, I think once the pressure's off for Wolves regarding relegation, you could see they were playing really free today, weren't they? At times a little bit, cheeky, I'd guess, because they knew they were safe. But nonetheless, they were completely opposite to Leicester, who are obviously in a similar situation, obviously, being relegated, but they still could play with the shackles off. So weird how they sort of, result in any more or better football, or at least higher energy,
Yeah, and again, we talk about every game has something on it, and Wolves epitomised that today. Yes, they're safe from relegation. They secured a Premier League future for next year, but they're still trying to win every game they go out in because they will want to finish as high as they possibly can between now and the end of the season. And you've got to, I'm not saying congratulate, but you've got to take your hat off them with the way of, even though the pressure's off them, they've gone out and performed today.
And if you look at it, we were kind of hoping the change of manager would have a similar effect that would happen to Everton and Wolves, really, where new managers came in and just instantly performances picked up, points picked up, and ultimately they're safe with, or they were safe with 6 games to go. So basically the complete opposite to what happened to us in terms of manager change, and obviously a positive change at that, which didn't happen. So disappointment, just got to get through the next 5 games Yeah, and got to be brutally honest, just get that season done with and move on. I'm sure there'll be some decisions to be made over the summer, but yeah, just get that season done.
Yeah, Bubba has joined us. Fair play to him. He's always watching through thick and thin. He's just put an absolute nightmare, and it just felt a little bit like as soon as that penalty was saved, you knew it wasn't going to be very sort of.
And if there's one person, probably El Canusa, but if there's one person you want to take that penalty, it is Jimmy Vardy, and everybody was rooting for him next door to get that ball into the back of the net and get closer to the, his 200th goal. But it just wasn't to be. The keeper's read it the right way, gone the right way, good strong right hand down to the ground to keep it out. Gallers it at the second attempt. So just unfortunate for Jimmy. But, going back to what Robert just said a minute ago about getting this season over and done with, and you can tell that the confidence levels are low. They looked as if they were playing with low confidence. You have to try and somehow finish the season with some little bit of positivity. Now, whether or not, the manager brings more of the younger players in between now and the end of the season and just brings a bit of energy, a bit of a new sort of vibe. But if it carries on like this, by the end of the season, I mean...
It's going to have a carryover to next year, isn't it? Let's be realistic.
There you go. That's what I'm trying not to say. It's a possibility that carries on. You have to try and finish the season. And by the looks of it, the best way to do that, to get some kind of positivity between now and the end of the season, is by changing the personnel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking ahead now already to the game next week against Southampton. Whether you see a change in the 11, we saw a triple change at half-time today. Clearly, he wasn't happy with what he'd seen in the first half, so decided, let's try something new. Will we see a complete shift, a complete change for the game against Southampton?
I mean, that's one of those things I don't particularly like, because there's been so many choppers and changes. There's every game, there's a different formation, different players. I think for something to kind of work, medium term, long term, you've got to have stability in your first 11. You can't. The message you put out in training and in the game, it needs to be the same message. You can't go from back 3 to back 4 and then change again to back 5, all within the space of 2 or 3 games. The best you play as a team, if you've got some kind of rhythm, keep changing the players. As a player or former player myself, I hated being in and out. When you're in and you're playing, that's how you build relationships. You and your centre-back partner, or Vards with the front guys, or the midfielder. That's how you're starting to understand. And at the moment, it's been almost every game there's been like 4 or 5 changes. And with that, you just can't get any kind of rhythm.
Momentum or rhythm, yeah.
Yeah, and then because the players that come in, they haven't played for 2 weeks, they then think they're going to have to do something special to get into the next week's squad. And it's just a bit of a mess. I prefer the teams to be settled, maybe have 1 or 2 changes, have a similar formation that you can, couple of tweaks that you need to do, but nothing too big.
I think it's more at the top end of the pitch. Obviously defensively, there's not that many changes can be made. Maybe a Coley comes in for one or the other of Cody or Fass.
Well, we saw Mavididi starting to start games. Well, yeah,
and see, that's a big loss. Big loss. McAteer's come back on at half time, put a good shift in. Looked hungry. Looked busy. Who else has just gone out? Okay, Buonanotte didn't have his best game, but people like McAteer and Mavididi coming in and just giving us a bit of energy. Well, I don't know what the status is. You're going to miss the rest of the season, Mavididi. So that's a major loss. But by hook or by crook, they've got to try and pull themselves out of this slump and try and have a semi-fruitful end of the season, and have just some kind of inkling of positivity to take away during the summer break.
Because if you go and win, let's say, of the remaining 4, 2 of them get a draw, 7, 8 points in that final game, at least you can go, right, to next season. Oh, actually, we saw some things that started to go well at the back end of last season. Casey McAteer got on the score sheet. Whatever that might be, it just gives you something to then build upon.
Yeah, on both sides. But obviously on the playing side, where as a player you go back into the summer break and go, well, there's something there. But if you lose every game, and same for the management, whoever's going to be in charge, they will look at the games and go, well, there's something there. We might not need a complete turnaround, but for the championship, we might make it work. But yeah, if you don't, then it becomes a long, long summer, and you know what your mind's like. It just keeps ticking over how bad of a run it was towards the end. And then when you start first day of pre-season, you always start the first meeting with the back end of last year. What we done well, that's what we did anyway. Let's keep going what we had last year and build on this. Like, how are you going to start the season or pre-season when you lost 5-6 games in a row? It's going to be very tough to get the boys back on. But it's going to be a grind, because most of the boys...
It's a grind.
It's a grind. And most of the boys, don't forget, they've already been relegated prior to this season. Yeah. So they know how much of a grind the championship's going to be. It's going to be tough to get the guys on board for the starting season, I think. If it stays like this.
Yeah, of course. But hopefully, if they can get a couple of results at the end of the season, they can think, all right, actually, yeah, we were here for the previous season when we were winning all those games in the championship. It felt good. It felt fun to be part of. Let's go in excited. Let's attack the championship like that.
Dan, even a performance, never mind a result, would do. That was not a good performance today from Leicester. The performance at Brighton away was a good, solid performance. They got a result out of a draw, a well-earned draw away from home, and probably should have won that game.
Yeah.
But for two VAR penalties, one very dubious indeed. And that is what I would say the least the fans and the players need to give this football club is some good, solid performances between now and the end of the season. Today was not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, the 3,000 fans travelled to Wolves today. Okay, it's not the longest trip in the Premier League, fair enough, but they've paid all that money to go to watch the team who have already been relegated. That's a great effort, isn't it?
Yeah, it's commitment, isn't it? I'm sure I can think of better ways to do than watch my relegated team on a Saturday. But yeah, no, fair play. To be fair, Leicester always had a great away support, whether you win, lose, or draw. So I don't know any difference. Wherever I played with Leicester, the away support was great. But I'm sure these guys, they're getting to the end of it really, where there's only so many times you can see a team lose, which can't be nice. But yeah, fair play to the supporters turned up, and they were there supporting them.
Yeah. Quick word on Jamie Vardy, because obviously we know we spoke to you a lot pre-match about him and his attitude, and clearly he did so well to win the penalty. That was the Jamie Vardy of old, wasn't it? Getting in behind, taking it round the keeper, being clever to win the penalty. You thought for all the money that he would slot it away, having had the week that he's had, but the keeper made the save. You still wouldn't bet against him reaching 200 still between now and the end of the season.
No, and spot on. I thought that the run he made was actually pretty great. That's the kind of the ball he thrives on, just a little short pass in between the defence and the keeper, and he got there in time. And like I said, he made the most of it. But anyway, he got the penalty, and like you said, I think we always sitting there, fingers crossed that he puts it in the back of the net, which wasn't to be. I thought the keeper did actually pretty well with the penalty. That went down pretty well. But let's not forget, AB still got 5 games. That's if I was Jamie, I think his focus is be on the next 5 games, getting those whatever it takes to get 2 goals in. Because 200 goals for Leicester be one hell of an achievement.
I think there was 2 big moments in the second half. I think El Khanous had that chance where he's gone through and tried bending it, and and obviously the penalty for Jamie. Those were probably the 2 moments in the second half where if Leicester converts either one of them 2, then they give themselves a chance to get back into the game. But obviously that didn't happen, and Wolves go on to win by a bit more. But as you say, and I think that'll only make Jamie Vardy more determined.
Yep.
To make sure that he goes out with a
And you know
with a
him.
bang. Yeah.
You know
Oh,
him.
that will eat away at him tonight for
Yeah.
sure. He hates letting the team down. Not that he has, but he will feel like he has because 2-1 it becomes a completely different
Yeah.
game. So he will feel like he let the team down without having done so. But yeah, he'd be thinking tonight. He'd be 100% focused on the next 5 games because that'd be one hell of an achievement. 200 goals. That'd be amazing. So fingers crossed they get over the line. I think from all of us, the fans and whoever's a Leicester supporter. But yeah, today wasn't to be. But listen, he's missed penalties before. He'll be back and be scoring again, hopefully.
Yeah, he's got 2 more King Power Stadium games to go as Jamie Vardy, where hopefully a goal in each of those would be fantastic, wouldn't it? And a great way
Southampton
to say
and Ipswich.
goodbye to his supporters against 2 teams that are already relegated as well alongside Leicester. So a big chance for Jamie Vardy. That game next week with Southampton, as ever, is a game that's available. You can watch all the build-up with us on Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff a week today, so do join us for that, where Robert Huth, you're back again, two games in a row, which is great. Hopefully we'll see plenty more of you next season as well. Have you enjoyed your debut here on the sofa?
Good stuff, yeah. Enjoyed it.
You enjoyed
good.
talking defending?
He's been in good company. He's had plenty to talk about with a fellow centre half.
Apart from the scoreline,
Yeah.
it was all good. But yeah, no, it's good fun.
No, it's been great to have you on, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you, Jerry, as ever, for your company as well. And thank you to everybody who's got involved with us, whether you've commented on YouTube or just watched us here on Matchday Live. We do appreciate all the support and all the support you have given throughout the season to your football club. Well, that's it from us today. Thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again in a week's time. Goodbye.